Hi, I'm Burke MacDonald with Schaumburg Heartbeat. We're over in part of Sarah's Grove. I don't know if you realize this, but the forest area in front of Friendship Village is part of the original development for Schaumburg. That's where Schaumburg basically got started. And it was called Sarah's Grove at one time, and this is part of the remains of it. There's not a whole lot left. But we're with a gentleman. He just became the Volunteer of the Year for the village of Schaumburg. And one of the main reasons is he helps to keep this place maintained. When you first came, you're a resident, right, of Friendship Village?
That's right. I'm a resident here. I've been here since 2003.
When you first came here, did you realize that these woods were here?
Yeah, I know the woods were here, but they were really woods.
They were really woods. They were all grown over.
All grown over, yeah. A lot of invasives, poison ivy, all that stuff that nobody liked.
Well, now I know you're a senior citizen, and people think they're in retirement, but it seems like you do a lot of work here. And what are the things that you've done to try and get this back to where it should be?
Well, I've cleared the buckthorn, which is one of the major invasive trees or bushes. Got rid of that, and another invasive is garlic mustard, which we herbicide and pull. The other thing is to put in paths and divide the woods into different sections. So you begin to clear in different sections at a time and come back and reseed and come back and try to maintain that area as time goes on. And then fortunately in Friendship Village we've gotten some money that we've had two controlled burns through the woods, and that is a big help.
Now I know they do controlled burns over at the Park District also. In a woods area, what does a controlled burn do to help the woods?
Well, if you have woody resprouts like buckthorn, they burn them down. And so that when they get big enough, if they get too big, you can't burn them down. You have to cut them down and herbicide them. Okay. So a controlled burn is a good way of suppressing any resprouts of things you don't want, any woody materials. Now
you said that you go and replant here every year. What type of seeds do you plant in this area?
All different kinds. I try to get native woodland species and put them in, and I've been doing that over the years. Such things as white baneberry, what can I do? Golden glow. What else have I put in here?
It's my understanding that during whatever season that you can harvest this, you've harvested and made these seeds available to the community, and you've also donated some to the Park District for Spring Valley, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. Over the years, what I try to do is when we have these paths get overgrown again, and I try to get volunteers in who want to do their restorations and pull plants out. And so I get some help clearing the paths here.
I know today here you got a lot of help. You're out here alone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
When you retired, were you in this type of an industry, or how did you get involved in being so involved with the environment?
Well, I got involved with other people who were doing conservation work throughout the area. Like the West Chicago Prairie, the Poplar Creek Stewards, and Fermi Lab. And, over the years, when I was working, I worked on weekends helping people clear as a volunteer. So I've been doing this for, I would say, about 30 years, maybe.
30 years.
Maybe even longer.
Well, that's a long time. The other thing that I heard, then you were nominated by 3 people, basically. And one was Jane Rozak over at the library, and she said you worked with her to create a PowerPoint presentation. Now, what was that like, building that?
Well, the whole reason for doing that PowerPoint was for people in Friendship Village. We have a large number of seniors who cannot walk the woods at all because they've got either walkers. But the idea was to put together a armchair walk through the woods, so they could go on their computers and take a walk through the woods and see what's in here, because most people have no idea Diversity there is of plants in here.
I would agree with you, because when you start, I've looked at this PowerPoint, and not only do you sort of go through and show the different places, but you've come out here all different times of the year and captured photographically the different flowers that grow during the different seasons.
That's true, yes. So people can go to that PowerPoint or that presentation that the Schaumburg Library has now. They switched it from PowerPoint so it could be run on anybody's computer without PowerPoint. See, so that was a big help. And people can go and access that and see exactly where some of if they come out at particular times of the year, it's identified. They can go and look in those particular spots for those plants.
Now, I know another one that gave you part of the nomination was Rick Paisley, who's basically in charge of the property here. And I'm assuming that the two of you work together to keep this in good shape, right?
Oh, yes. See, if I can't cut some big trees down that should be cut down, I go to him and ask him if he's got any money to get somebody with chainsaws out here. And I've been pretty successful the last 5 or 6 years that we've come in here and identified trees and cut things down.
Now I notice
open this place up.
I notice that the walkways here, if somebody comes here to visit, obviously this is not real safe if you don't have balance and so on. But if you do have balance and you're able to walk in a wooded area, the paths are marked pretty well by these trees. You've taken some of the trees and marked the paths, right?
That's right. Yeah, we use them as borders. We use well, we don't burn everything. We try to utilize some things as borders, and we keep replacing them as some of these borders rot away, the wood rots away, and then replace them with other sawed down trees as we go along.
Okay, now I also notice, from talking with Jane, that you got really interested in what was in here, or how it started, and that you went down to the county offices and researched the development of this area, right?
Yeah, I researched who the property owners were and how they how they sold it to another person and all that stuff. The title it was basically a title search.
Did you find out anything interesting?
Oh yes, if you go in the archives, if you go on the presentation from the history of Sarah's Grove in part 2, I have a whole story of the ownership.
Oh, that sounds really of
the woods, all of Sarah's Grove, not only of Friendship Village, but of Sarah's Grove.
Right, which was a fairly large piece of area,
right? It was
right?
about 100 acres at one time.
Okay. And I think you found out there was a subdivision many, many years ago that was never developed in here, right?
Yeah, it's being developed now is Coventry Woods over here.
That's another area. Now, you also found the remains. There's a little bit out there, not a lot, but the foundation for an old tavern that used to be right on Schaumburg Road. Is that right?
Yeah, that used to be called Herman's in the Woods. It had other names such as Hilltop Inn and Bonnie's Tap over time, but there's no more building. There's just foundation ruins. That's all that's left.
So, but then Friendship Village took the word Herman's and they've created a cafe in the building for that.
They got Herman's, but most people don't know what Herman's is all about. But that's all right.
Well, I hope, I assume that you're still having fun doing this. It seems like an awful lot of work, but
there's always something new to see. Always something new coming up every once in a while. Last year we had, and I hope to get this into the library archives, we've had some very interesting mushrooms come up last year. I haven't seen them this year yet. So.
Were they edible?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
So,
but the library does have a good collection of mushroom books, I tell you.
So that you can track down exactly what it is.
You can track down what they are and tell you whether they're edible or not edible, but I still wouldn't trust any of that stuff.
Well, Herb, you are to be congratulated. I know Herb's a shy man. He sometimes gets frustrated with me saying, "Can we go and do this?" but he's been very cooperative. As you can see with the woods when you drive by, or if you drive into Friendship Village, it's amazing how much you can see into them now. When you first came here, it was pretty full. You couldn't see into the woods, right?
No, you couldn't see. You had to crash through it. You had to crash through the woods. Yeah. They're so overgrown. It was actually the only thing that was there was this particular path here known as Sarah's Walk. There were no other paths in here. Nothing in the East Woods at all. Of course, we don't call this Sarah Grove. I call that the East Woods, and these are the West Woods.
Okay, so we're in the West Woods right now.
We're in the West Woods right now, which has a swale, which means it's pretty hilly. It's pretty. You have some steep inclines in here, whereas in the East Woods it's fairly level.
It's my understanding that next week Al Larson, the mayor, he's got an award that he gives, a conservation award, and that you're getting that award, and I think that's something also to be proud of. Well, you're having a good year here. We really appreciate all that you do for the village of Schaumburg. Obviously, these are historic woods that you're keeping together, and we thank you for the extra time and all the effort that you spend in here, and I think the Volunteer of the Year award is well deserved.
Well, thank you very much.
We hope you've enjoyed this segment with Herb Demmel, the Volunteer of the Year for the Village of Schaumburg, over at Friendship Village. I'm Burke MacDonald with Schaumburg Heartbeat, and don't forget, take time for fun.
There's nothing like heading to the golf course after a long, hard winter, and opening day is finally here. Tee it up at the Schaumburg Park District golf courses, Walnut Greens, and the Schaumburg Golf Club. After you've enjoyed a day in the sun, stop by the newly renovated Chandler's Chop House for a delicious meal. Chandler's Chop House is located at the Schaumburg Golf Club. You can't beat a day of golf and good food. Learn more at parkfun.com.
Hi, I'm Burke MacDonald with Schaumburg Heartbeat. We're over at the Prairie Center for the Arts in Schaumburg. They're getting ready for the Senior Follies for 2017. We're going to look at some of the acts and talk to a couple of the people, and we hope you enjoy this segment. We're with Rob Palakis. I believe I pronounced that right?
That's good. Thank you.
Okay. Did something right today. You're the one that pulls this together every year. How did you get started with this?
Well, you know, it was actually an idea that came forth by one of our Cultural Commission members, Betty Solomon. She had seen it in other communities and thought, you know, we have a pretty big community ourselves, and of course surrounding communities, so not just Schaumburg, but a lot of towns around here with a lot of talent. And so we thought we'd put on a talent show, and 5 years later, here we are, still playing. This year is probably one of our strongest years. We have some new voices, a lot of talent. I mean, these are some people who've done it, you know, professionally for a while. Some people who've just done it as a hobby. But however they've done it, they do it really well.
Okay, we're here with Mark Davis. Mark, this is the Senior Follies. This is a talent show, and you've got a saw in your hand. What's that all about?
Well, I don't know if I'm proper at it, but this thing can be played as well as sawed.
It can be. You can really use it for sawing wood too.
Well, it's actually designed as a musical saw. In fact, right on there it says Stradivarius.
Oh, okay.
But
So where did you learn this? How did you figure this out?
internet.
The internet.
Yeah.
I thought we're too old for the internet.
My daughter showed me.
Your daughter showed you. So do you have a lot of fun with this?
Yeah, kind of freaked the cat out the first time. He was sticking his head around the corner wondering what the noise was. And he either got used to it or I got better, but he just sleeps now whenever I'm playing.
Okay. Well, when hopefully we're at the rehearsals today, and hopefully we'll be able to get Mark, you said, right?
Yeah.
I'm a senior too, so I don't always remember right. Hopefully we'll get you during your rehearsal.
Or just get that a lot closer. Are you hearing something?
Okay, you're Robert Gunnenson, right? And I
Yes.
heard you've moved out of town, but you still come back, right?
I still come back. I've lived in Schaumburg back in the 80s. I was in International Village, worked at Motorola. And a few years ago, I lived in Gatewood across the street from here.
How did you get interested? I hear you're a singer. How did you get interested in that?
Oh, I've been singing since I was 14.
14.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good emotional release, you know?
A good way to, well, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you do well, and thank you for giving us a couple minutes, and hopefully you enjoy the show.
I hope I do good.
I do too. Thank you.
Thanks.
You'll probably recognize one of the people here, Tony. She's one of our reporters, and you do a multiple tasking, don't you?
Yes, well, for the last couple years, I reported and danced in it, or at least 1 year ago. But this year, I talked to you, and I said it was too much pressure, so I just wanted to dance this year.
Okay, well, introduce us to your partner here.
This is Doreen, and she is my dance instructor for the last couple of years. Last year, when I performed, she came to see me, and I encouraged her to do a duet with me because it's less pressure having somebody else on stage with you than just doing one person.
Now, do either of you try to trip the other during this bit?
No, we get along.
Oh, we're very supportive.
You're very supportive. How long have you been dancing?
Over 60 years.
Over 6 years.
60.
60 years. Oh, okay. And I heard you used to work at the Park District, or you had a thing at the Park District? No?
No, I had my own dance studio in Arlington Heights.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds pretty good. So what age level did you work with?
All ages.
All ages.
I love the all ages. They each have something special that they bring.
Yeah, that's true. And what do you like best what type of dancing do you like best?
I pretty much like modern dance, but a ballet, tap, and jazz. But what Doreen didn't tell you, she has been a choreographer for community theater musicals throughout the area.
Well, that's got to be hard. I mean, especially if it's a dunce like me that's up there trying to dance. How do you teach people to do this?
Well, you give them basic things that they can look good doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then everybody in the family thinks they're great when they're done, right?
That's right. You
Yeah,
don't
well,
want
that's
to,
the best way
and
to
then and you make levels so that there might be some people who can do more, and then they get a chance to do a little more, and everybody's happy.
Well, that sounds like a real challenge. Well, I hope the two of you do very well and have fun with I hear you guys have two performances in there, right?
Yes, we have two segments. We're doing the Charleston to the Roaring 20s, 5'2", and then we have a tap number to Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Oh, well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Well, we hope that you're back on the show again soon, and have it.
Always next year. And all of our looker honors here who are 62 or older, come join us in audition next year.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, it's my first time doing this particular show, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, good luck. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
And what do? You're a singer, right?
Yeah, I just for fun.
Just for fun, but have you been doing this, I assume, for a while?
Oh, yeah, most of my life.
Is there a certain type of song that you like better than others?
Oh, I suppose the current songs and the fun ones.
The fun ones. Well, it's always fun to do the fun one, but some of the current ones are really sort of strange at
They
times.
are, yes, they are.
But I bet your grandkids love it when you just do some of the new fun ones.
I don't know, they think I'm a little weird sometimes.
Well, you should see
I'm way behind times.
You should see my kids and grandkids when I do this show. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
It is, yeah.
Well, I hope you have a good afternoon.
Well, thank you. I intend to. I've had good ones so far.
Okay, thank you.
And all thirst to who once used better words, now only use four-letter words, right and wrong. 'Cause anything goes. The world has gone mad today, and good's bad today, black's white today, and day's night today, and most gods today, the women prize today are just silly gigolos.
Okay, I'm with Ron Cameron, but I'm not going to tell us where you're from right now because I want people to listen to you a little bit. But you live in Schaumburg now, right?
Yes, I do.
And what brought you to Schaumburg?
Actually, I was working for Panasonic Company, and they would send me around the country, so I wanted somewhere central so I could go to the Elgin office or go to the airport.
Well, that sounds like fun. Now, I hear you sing on your...
Yes.
How long have you been singing?
I've been singing since I was 13 years old.
13 years old?
Uh-huh.
Have you sang in groups, or you generally do solo?
I actually did duos many times. I've had female partners. I've had male partners. Right now, I have a great female partner. We've been together for 5 years.
Oh, well, that sounds like it's a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Now, tell me where you're really from originally, because I think people will be interested to know this.
I am from a town called Geelong, which is in the state of Victoria in Australia.
In Australia? You're an Aussie?
Yeah.
So how do you like the weather here, the winters here?
Well, you know what? I liked it better in Los Angeles. I was there for 20 years, but I can stomach the winters here, okay. Especially this last one.
Well, I hope you enjoy the show, and thank you for giving me a couple minutes.
Absolutely, thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Round a quarter to 9. Now I know that I won't be late, 'cause at 8:30 I know I'm gonna be there. I'll be waiting for you, one needles and pins, waiting until this evening begins, and then this world is gonna be mine. This very evening, round the corner to 9.
Okay, this is Rod Marino. And Rod, what got you involved in the Follies?
A friend of mine was in it a few years ago, and we do a lot of singing together. So he invited me to come, and I've been coming ever since.
Okay, and what I haven't seen the acts 'cause I'm out here doing the interviews. What do you do?
I typically sing Sinatra-style songs.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Are you a gangster?
No. But my father was big in the Sinatra, so that's how I got big into it.
Well, that sounds like fun. And is it hard to learn his style?
No, not if you practice all the time. I had Parkinson's disease. I was diagnosed 17 years ago.
You're doing great.
And I read somewhere that singing helped you keep your voice, because sometimes people lose their voice with Parkinson's. Right. And I bought a karaoke machine, and I've been singing ever since.
Well, that's really great. I hope you do well, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you.
Why are you driving me crazy? And why do I dig you like I do? If I should steal a little kiss and you can prove that it was wrong, hey, I'll give it back to you. Tell me, honey, with a smile, I can walk you down that aisle. I won't even need a shove. Can I just feel a little love? Can I feel a little love?
I grab a little long?
We're here with B. Gollop, and it looks like that's hard to hold on your head. What are you here doing today?
Is I am performing a lip sync number while Carmen Miranda is singing on a recording. It's a lip syncing thing I've been doing for years. Yeah, a long time.
What's the name of the song?
Quanta la gusta.
Quanta la gusta.
Yes.
Did I pronounce that well?
Yes, very good. Yes.
I'm not very good at the Spanish. Tell me how you got involved in lip syncing as opposed to doing regular syncing.
Well, I don't have a very good voice. I have a great body and I can dance, but as far as singing, no, I was not gifted with that. So I would take recordings, Marilyn Monroe, Judy Garland, a lot of the greats that are no longer with us, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, this looks like it's a lot of fun.
Live, actually.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
It is.
Well, I hope you have a good time at the show this weekend.
Thank you. I certainly will. I hope our audience will as well.
Me too. Thanks.
With arc and flashing eyes, I'll take the train. You take the boat, or I'll take the plane. And you ride the boat. Oh, we don't care. We're either walk or flying, very good, and we're gonna have a happy time. Quanto le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta. Quanto le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta. Quanto le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta, le gusta.
Well, this has really been quite an afternoon if you looked at all the different things that we saw. I think it's going to be an exciting Senior Follies. I think this is going to be broadcast after the event, but if next year you'd be interested in doing it, I'm sure you can contact the Schaumburg Prairie Center for the Arts and get yourself involved. It looks like a real fun thing to join into. I'm Burke MacDonald with Schaumburg Heartbeat, and don't forget, take time for fun.